Good afternoon, family. How are you today? I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing just wonderful. I am out in nature where I thrive my best, and I'm just enjoying some peace. And the sun is peeping in every now and then, so as much as I can get some sun, I'm going to get it. Watching the squirrels and the birds. I have a couple of cats that have taken up residence here in my home. So I'm embracing them too. They are all a part of nature as I am as well. And so I am just embracing it all. I am having a wonderful day. Thank goodness I purposed to. And I wanted to steal a few minutes away from my task and come on and provide this message that I promised a couple of days ago. I wanted to find the time to go on and talk about something, share something with you, because I do know that there is a message for every one of us. And so I'm sure that this message that I'm bringing forth is going to bless somebody, give somebody the courage, give somebody the clarity, the understanding, better understanding, and what they probably have experienced. We've all had so many experiences, and we're still in the process. So there's something for all of us out there to help us move in this glorious time. So I wanted to talk about those of us who are in this special category, the one that we call chosen ones, the star seeds, the indigo children, those of us who have been set aside by nature, by the universe, to be deemed, I don't know, we all are special, of course, guys. I know that. That is real. But we are set aside. And we were created, born, whatever term you choose, for a special time is now, like now. We have a special task, an assignment. And I think many of us are aware now of what that assignment is. But for a long period of time, many of us had no idea. We didn't understand a lot of our experiences early on and why we had to go through this and go through that. And what did it all mean? Why? Why was life so hard for us when it appeared everybody else, had it much, much easier? And in many ways, that was reality, and that is reality. I used to receive all kinds of compliments, mysterious shout outs from people, and I didn't understand why or what they meant, because I didn't see myself as any different than anyone else. Of course, I was very private to a certain extent. If I didn't know you very well, I probably didn't give you much conversation. I have to check you out first real good. that's kind of my nature, and many other things that I experienced, many other personality traits and things that I saw in myself that I wasn't sure where it all came from. And it has taken until now to get a full understanding what it all meant, and why I move the way I move and why I have to move the way I move. And that I just didn't understand it. But now I know. I understand it quite well now in this glorious time, age of Aquarius, where everything is being revealed and the things that were a puzzle has now been, the puzzle has been placed in front of us, and actually the puzzle has been worked. We've put it together, and now we can see it. Mother Nature has put it together, the universe. So now we can see the puzzle is completely together now. We understand it so much better. So the topic of they sacrifice themselves trying to sacrifice us, that is a very, very true comment. That's a true statement. Those of us in this position, we have been divinely protected all of our lives, even when we didn't realize it. And I will say, I used to be so disturbed trying to figure out some of the specifics that I experienced early on. And I found out a little bit later in life. I was still a child, but I found out after I lost my mom that I had a different father. I had a biological father that was different. I didn't know. And sometimes it's hard for me to even articulate it. And the fact that I've had to just accept that real is real. This is just reality. But I found out I had a different father biologically. And found out actually the day of my mother's burial, her funeral. And I set out to look for him. I was first angry at my mom because I didn't understand why that was kept a secret. I was even angry at my other dad. But it didn't take long for me to figure out that my mother was trying to protect me. And when I did find him, I'm going to be on a fast track in this message. And I began to see the personality traits and the behavioral traits that he had. I quickly understood, I began to understand why my mother never let me know him. So I have heard in this quest to understand chosen ones and what their world is really like. I mean, I'm living it, but to try to understand it, I found out that most of us are assigned a narcissist, one or two at least. So I found that in my biological father, and he's deceased now, 2012, I think. But for the longest, he was in my life, and I had to quickly put him at bay because of the terror, the pain, and that he caused me, and with all of the narcissistic trickery and the overbearing, controlling manner that he moved. And I, being a chosen one, being that my characteristics are that of very strong, tender-hearted, very giving, and kind by nature, but not a shove-over. I was never a shove-over, even as a child. And with my nature being as such as a chosen one, typical nature, I was not going to ever be one that was going to allow him or anyone, for that matter, to just control me, And so, but I learned very quickly that, he was the reason my mother kept him a secret. And so up until his death, he would constantly bring sadness and grief to my life in any way that he could. And because he could not control me, I understand it quite well now. That was a problem. And in his quest to control the whole family, if he couldn't control me, he would use other family members to try and affect me. You know, several of my family members he manipulated to try to hurt me and to harm me. The life of a chosen one, a star seed. But yeah, so, and then that was one part in this segment. The other part is that I had an experience where I was in a relationship and I stayed in the relationship too long. Our nature as chosen ones, many of us, most of us, we're very giving, and so it's really hard for us to completely break away. If we think there's any inclination that we will be able to hold on to you and fix whatever that problem is, we tend to like to do that. We tend to like to not let go. Many of us are hopeful that there's something we can do to make it work out. You know, whatever the relationship is, that's just a common nature in chosen ones. We just keep on giving and giving and giving and giving. Many of us, sometimes we give until we have nothing more to give. And then we wake up. So in that relationship, I actually finally found the strength to leave and get out of it. It took a long time. And for various reasons, which were also tied to being unselfish, is the reason why I hung on to that. And I finally got a phone call about 7 years ago, and I received what sounded like an apology from this person and an admission of many of the things that they were doing to me that they didn't realize. Some of them I knew, but they were sharing with me all of the ugly things. You know, I did this and I did that and I did that. And I think they were trying to, in the moment, change their lives and change their life. And I think that's what prompted them to give me a call. But again, very narcissistic behavior that I dealt with through those years. A lot of people in my family don't even know the things that I suffered with this person, you know, along with my biological father, who was also joined with this person. And together as a team, they tried their very best to destroy me. And I'm going to tell you, I learned that chosen ones they have entities assigned to them, to us, by the evil ones. Early on, very early on, they assigned to them to bring, you know, to wreak havoc, bring harm, bring for whatever reason. I still don't. That's just the one thing I haven't quite gotten clarity on is partly is why. I know why, but I'm still struggling a little bit with, for people who are always trying to help, who are always giving and, you know, trying to, you know, bring joy to other people's lives in the best way that they know how. Why would anybody want to just consistently bring harm? But that's what I experienced with those two people. And then I had to go back and look at my old friends. And I found out in the process of beginning to kind of see a little more clearly about my old friends, who I know now, they were also assigned to bring trouble for me, to wreak havoc in my life. You know, when I got married, they began to really be exposed, and two of them were the girls that wore the title, the highest title in my wedding. And I really couldn't understand why, you know, and why now, at one of the most happiest time in my life. Why now would you guys want to hurt me? But this revelation of understanding what our lives consist of in coming into these times, and that we are definitely a part of the 144,000 that are assigned to help heal this planet and bring peace, love, and joy. And the evil ones, they were never going to just sit back and let that happen without doing what they do and what they're still doing, trying to do. Too late now, because we got it now. But they're going to do it. I think they're going to play the fiddle till the ship sinks, but it's not going to work. But I understand totally now why those women were behind the scenes trying to destroy my wedding, trying to, wreak havoc on my special day. I tell you, it's amazing how our lives unfold this experience, and how all of the theories, the mysteries from childhood on up until today, how it's been a struggle trying to look into, what was taking place and understand it. But they sacrificed themselves trying to sacrifice me. And I know that because I understand the divine purpose of why I was created in the position that I have been placed in. I understand it now. I understand why. I understand a majority of the parts, the different segments of what took place and why. And it was very sad as it was unfolding through the years, but I look at myself now and I thank the mother of this planet, and I thank the universe for giving me such a divine position, for me to be chosen to go through what I went through and still am going through. I got it now though, guys. But I feel special. I do. Even though none of it felt good, it doesn't. When you're being targeted for destroy, it doesn't feel good. And especially when it comes from people that's supposed to love you, so-called friends that's supposed to, be there for you. It doesn't feel good. But it is reality, and it's okay. It is okay. I'll say this much, though. In all those times experiencing these people and their narcissistic, mean behaviors, I never wavered. I never changed. I continued to be the young, beautiful on the inside being that I was created to be. I never allowed it to turn me into the monster that I could have became, you know. I never I never allowed it to change me, you know. I would fight back, you know. I would not just lay down and roll over and just let them. I would fight back in in my own kind of way without physically fighting back. But I tell you, it has made me a stronger being, a much stronger being, and it has prepared me actually for the task at hand that I am in the divine position to take on now, right now, in this moment. I get it now. I do. I understand it all, and I'm just overtaken by joy again for being chosen to do what I am purposely doing right now. So I'll say this to you, to those of you who can relate, those of you who resonate with this message. They may have meant it for your bad, but it's all going to come out for your good. They try to destroy you, but in the process, they destroyed themselves. Because when you are tagged to be in a special position on this planet, you are always protected. You are always covered, always. And I used to tell kids on the playground when I was a little girl, I remember, and I didn't even understand it, but when kids used to pick with me, or if they picked with other kids, and I would go to their defense, because I used to be the bully buster. I used to be the little girl that would go to the rescue when other kids were being bullied. Yes, I was. And I wasn't probably 85 pounds soaking wet, but I had a big personality when it came to defending other people. I've always been that way. And I used to say all the time to the bullies, you know, you don't know who you messing with. I'm not one you want to mess with. I used to say that all the time as a kid. I remember. And I didn't even understand why I said that. I didn't even really understand. I do now, but I didn't quite know what I meant back then. But I understand it completely now. It's a beautiful time to be in this position, and I accept and welcome it wholeheartedly. I do. And for all of you that are out there who have the same path or very similar paths on this planet, to have endured a lot of suffering like I have, and to still be here in one complete wholeness, you are blessed. You are so blessed. You made it. You did. You made it. You did. And all of those entities that the evil one sent out to destroy you, you passed the test. We passed the test. We are here together right now. And we're living our lives, and we're blessing the world in our own way, divinely. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And a lot of those entities that were sent to distract us and hurt us, you know, take us out, many of them are getting their karma right now. They are. And some of us are here to see it, you know, and even if we can't see it, it's a promise. It's a divine promise. Whatever you put out into the universe is surely what you will get back in a divine time. So you can rest assured that nothing they did is not going to go unchecked. Even those old stepsisters and biological brother that I had that also played a part in trying to destroy me, okay? And guess what? We don't have to raise a finger. We don't have to do anything, but just continue to be who we are and leave everything to the universe. Yep. It's a beautiful thing. We can continue to be good people, be good beings. So I just wanted to come on to share this message with you. And I did say definitely not gonna call actual names. Now, if you happen to see this video and you figure it out, or you think you figure it out, okay. But I put it in the words that I chose to, because I can do that now. I'm in control of my own life, and I'm not allowing anybody else to influence that or to take that control and that power away from me. Not anymore. I used to give my power away, but not anymore. Not anymore. I stand my ground. I stand my ground. So I've given a lot. I don't know, maybe more than I should have, but it's okay, because everything that I've given, I get it back tenfold. Sometimes it seems 20-fold. So nothing is wasted. I thank you guys for taking the time to come on and listen to this message. And I say again,